Okay, part 3. So for this question, what are the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment? So this is actually easier than you would think, all right? You basically need to know, well, if we look at our y coordinates, what's halfway between 1 and 4? Some people like to draw a little number line for this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What's halfway between 1 and 4? Well, that would be 2.5. What you can also do is just work out the mean average. So 1 plus 4 is 5, and then half it to get 2.5. It's absolutely your choice. So I know this x coordinate, so that first number there is going to be 2.5. My second number, again, I'm going to show you both methods. I want halfway between 3 and 5. Well, I don't actually think we need to do a method for that. Halfway between 3 and 5 is going to be 4. Okay, so we've got 2.5, 4. So that's going to be my answer. 2.5, 4 is going to be here. So remember, you can either work at the average of them, so add them up and divide by 2, or draw yourself a little number line. Okay, factorize this. So I want two numbers that times to make 15, but add to make -8. So in order for them, I'm thinking, are they going to be positive numbers or negative numbers? Well, the fact that we're going to end in a positive, so the product is positive, then they're either got to both be positive or both be negative. The fact I've got a negative somewhere else in the question tells me they're both going to be negative. So I can be a little bit clever, actually, and I can just get rid of all the ones that aren't both negatives. However, what I recommend you do is do it properly, okay? So let's just double check to do this properly. So we're going to have an x and we're going to have an x. Two numbers that times to make 15, but add to make -8. We know they're both minuses, and we've got a 3 and a 5. So it is going to be this one indeed. So the highest common factor of 42 and 72. Now, a couple of different ways to do this. What I would recommend you do is, well, there's two methods. One, you can list all the factors of 42 and all the factors of 72, or I'm going to quickly show you the Venn diagram method because it works really nicely for big numbers. It means you don't ever miss any. So what I need to do is I need to do the flower pot method for 42 and the flower pot method for 72, so which is your product of prime factors. So I'm going to have 21 and 2, 3 and 7. Okay. My other one I'm going to have is 72. So if we halve 72, we get 36 and 2, 6 and 6, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. And for big numbers, it's just, I find, quicker doing it this way than trying to list out all your factors and then missing some, okay? So you can't really see. So here we go. So let me list these underneath. I've got 2 times 3 times 7. And I've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And then with my little Venn diagram, for the highest common factor, I'm interested in the numbers in the middle. So let me put these in. So I've got a 2 and a 2, so that's going to go in the middle. I've then got a 3 in both as well, so that's going to go in the middle. I've then got a 7 only on this side. I've got 2 2s on this side, and I've got a 3 on this side. So my highest common factor is these two times together. So 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. And I just find that method saves you. It always works. As long as you can do prime factor decomposition, you're able to work at the highest common factor. That's always the 2 in the middle times by each other. The lowest common multiple would be timesing all of these values together. Okay. Jomo takes 35 seconds to the nearest second to run a race. What is the least possible time this could be? Okay, so the real easiest thing about doing this is whatever it's been rounded to, you halve. So it's been rounded to the nearest second, so let's half that and we get half a second. And you add it on and you take it away. That gives you the higher and lower bound. So we're going to have 35.5 seconds is your upper bound and 34.5 is your lower bound. So we're looking least possible time 34.5 seconds. Okay, factorize completely 10x squared plus 6xy. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to look for a single bracket. And what goes into both 10 and 6? What's my highest common factor? That's going to give me 2. Is there an x in both? Yes. Is there a y in both? No. So I can only take 2x out the front. So 2 times what is 10? 2 times 5 is 10. And what else am I missing? I'm missing another x. Then for this one, 2 times what is 6? 2 times 3. I've already got my x, and I'm just missing a y. So I'm looking for 2x and then 5x plus 3. 2x, 5x plus 3y. Sorry, there we go. Okay, what is this in standard form? So the first thing I'm going to do here is work out where my decimal place needs to actually go. So my decimal point is going to go there. So it'll be 4.57 is going to be my new number. So I've got to work out how many jumps this has done. 1, 2, 3. So we know it's going to be 4.57 because the number at the front has to be between 1 and 10. It's going to be 4.7. I've jumped it 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be times 10. And this is where I cheat a little bit to the 3. Is it a really tiny number? Yes, it needs a negative sign. If it was a really big number, then it's a positive number. But what we're technically doing is we're dividing by 1,000. All right, that's why it's that negative number. Times 10 to the power of minus 3 is 1 over 1,000. Okay, but I always tend to count the jumps, write the number in. Is it a really small number? Yes, put in a minus sign. Okay, next we're expanding. So again, use the window peanut method if you like, or use FOIL, I don't mind. Let's do FOIL this time. So first, 2x times 3x is going to give me 6x squared. Outside 2, I'm going to have 2x multiplied by minus 2y. It's going to give me minus 4xy. Inside, I'm going to have 3xy. And then my last, I'm going to have minus 2y squared. Usually, almost always, you can collect up these two terms here and simplify, okay? So we're going to have 6x squared minus 4xy plus 3xy. That's the same as saying 3xy minus 4xy. That's going to give me minus xy minus 2y squared. Okay, so 6x squared minus y squared minus 2y squared is going to be this one. Okay. Right, next question. Expand and simplify. Right, the secret here, the common mistake is people square that and square that. That's wrong, okay? What this means is we're going to have 2e minus 5f times by itself. Okay, so it's another question like what we just did, okay? So 2e times 2e is going to give me 4e squared. 2e times minus 5f is going to give me minus 10ef. 2e times minus 5f is another minus 10ef. Oh, you can't see. And then on the end, we're going to have positive 25f squared. Okay? Because minus 5 times minus 5 is positive 25. Let's collect like terms. Again, we can simplify this. 4e squared minus 20ef plus 25f squared. Right, let's try and find the right one. It's got 20 in it. Is this going to be it? This one. 4e squared minus 20ef plus 25f squared. Okay. All right, next. The diagram shows a cuboid. P and Q are the two vertices of the cuboid. Fine. What is the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment P to Q? So let's join up these two. Okay, what are we going to need to do here? So we want to work out, if we can work out the coordinates of P and the coordinates of Q, then we can work out the midpoint. All right? So the coordinates of P, well, we're going to need an X, a Y, and a Z coordinate. Okay? So the X coordinate is going to be 6. The Y coordinate is 3. And the Z coordinate is not coming out of the page at all, it's 0. The Q, well, let's work out those coordinates first. X, Y, Z. So the X coordinate of Q is going to be 0. The Y coordinate of Q is also 0. And the Z coordinate of Q is going to be 2. Okay, so if we think back to the question we did earlier on of midpoints, what we need to do is we need to work out the halfway point between 0 and 6, the halfway point between 0 and 3, and the halfway point between 2 and 0. If we can work out that, we can work out the midpoint between those 2 points. Okay, so what's halfway between 0 and 6? Last time I drew a little number line. You can absolutely do that. I'll show you now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's halfway between 0 and 6? It's 3. Or you can add them together and half them. 6 add 0 is 6. Half it is 3. So we know we're going to have a 3. Let's do the mean or the average for each one, okay, rather than the number line method. 0 plus 3 is 3. Half it, we get 1.5. 2 add 0 is 2. Half it, we get 1. So we're looking for 3, 1.5, 1. It's going to be this one, okay? So we're just looking for the halfway. All right, factorize. So this is going to be a bit of a longer method. Please, if you're not sure, have a look at the Maths Watch clip 192 for this one, okay? So this is, I do the splitting method for this. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to make minus 120. That 120 came from 12 times minus 10. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to make minus 120, but add to make minus 7. Okay, so for those two numbers, what am I going to have there? Let's have a think. So I'm going to have one's going to be a positive, one's going to be a negative, and then there's a difference of 7 between them.